All right. Welcome everyone to the fourth hackathon we're organizing as like a team. The first Chainhack was in 2015 in Dublin, in Ireland, and it was actually one of the very first blockchain hackathon in the world, because 2015 doesn't sound like that far away, but nobody cared about blockchain before that. Some people were talking about Bitcoin, but blockchain was a new word in 2015. We kind of regret this name because blockchain is so general and so, like, it means nothing. It's a chain of blocks that now we kind of have to fix it and try to explain what different technologies do. And it's better to say, you know, Bitcoin for some things, Lightning for others, smart contracts or whatever, Ethereum if you want to develop on Ethereum. Because now people are also talking about blockchain in a sense that has nothing to do with even the chain of blocks. You have some corporates that are saying, hey, our products are on the blockchain when they are on a database somewhere. And all they have is a hash function, which is a cryptographic function, or digital signatures, or anything. But yeah, digital signatures are not new. Cryptography is not new. The new thing in blockchain is the whole idea of having a consensus between participants that are not known to each other. And even some people would argue with that in the permission blockchains or permission ledgers, where actually even the validators have to be approved. So in that case, there is no trustlessness. You basically don't need a blockchain for that, in my opinion. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to talk about all of these different ideas and different technologies during the weekend. I encourage you to, especially if you don't know anything about blockchain, to talk to different people, because people have very different opinions about things. I'm what you call a Bitcoin maximalist. So let's say I'm not the most open-minded person when it comes to my opinion regarding the different blockchain technologies. But yeah, in this room there are a lot of people from different horizons who have different ideas, who are trying to implement completely different things. So my view, of course, is about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is money. It's the only real money on Earth. Everything else is a monopoly, and yeah. So that's my view of the things. Of course, this doesn't have to be about building financial applications. Even you can do anything you want. If you want to track a chicken on the blockchain, you can do that at this hackathon. It's perfectly fine. Actually, you didn't talk about your project too much.
I guess quickly, we do decentralized social media on the blockchain. That's pretty much it. We cater to especially token communities. So if you have a token with your project, you can use our blockchain as kind of scaffold to build a community around, and that's pretty much it.
So that's obviously not on Bitcoin.
No, because your transaction fees are too high.
Also,
not yet. Unless when you get that down, get the Lightning Network down, we're launching it.
Do you have a project called Habitat?
Sorry?
You know a project called Habitat?
It sounds familiar, but no.
It's a friend of mine from the States who did something very similar to that.
Okay, yeah, we could definitely chat in.
so yeah, we can try your stuff during the weekend. Well, I guess you already started to post things in there, so.
Yeah, we just gonna launch our second iteration beta. So it's gonna be a blockchain application like no other, because you don't have to pay transaction fees.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a specialized wallet to use it, so it's gonna be great.
All right, what else do I have to say about this hackathon? The first two editions were big, 150 people for each of them. And they were also quite early, so a lot of people who now are working on blockchain companies, even quite a few core developers in different technologies, learned about blockchain in these hackathons. And I think it's quite unique. There are not many hackathons around Earth where we have this kind of impact on the community. So yeah, a few people from all the different things have come to our hackathons and say good things about us, which is great. Also, yeah, I moved to Portugal a little bit less than 3 years ago. So last year was the first time I organized this hackathon. Well, we organized this hackathon here in Lisbon. We did it at Técnico, which is one of the universities. And it was about 100 people, if I recall well. And yeah, that was very different from our other hackathons because it was just next to a Bitcoin conference. So there was a big bias also in terms of technology. Today we don't have this bias, which is probably much more interesting as well to have more variety in terms of projects. So a quick word about our many sponsors, which I'm really glad to have this year. We have Nomadic Labs, two guys in the back there, working on Tezos mainly. They're going to explain a little bit more what they are doing. We also have Fidelity, so the big US fund. So the division that is sponsoring us is FCAT. FCAT is their, how do you describe that? Technology of the future kind of thing?
Yeah, we're the exploratory, we're the R&D of the investments. So anything that's kind of new and emerging that could possibly provide value to the company at some point, we want to invest in and investigate as much as possible.
So for those who don't know, Fidelity is one of the biggest investment funds in the world. Well, it's very big. And they have been working on blockchain technologies for a long time now. Compared to the other financial services companies, Fidelity is probably one of the very first who started having people really looking at it. And they are still putting a lot of money into it, which is great. Yeah, you have mining operations on Bitcoin since at least 2014, so it's kind of insane for this kind of companies. Fulgur Venture, which is an investment fund, well, a VC fund specifically targeting Lightning applications. So there are just a bunch of people who, so Lightning Networks is a second layer on top of Bitcoin. And now we start to see some very dedicated VC funds that just are looking into this kind of technologies. So Fulgur is one of them. SRS lawyers, legal, they are the only Portuguese sponsors we have, but I'm really glad to have them because it was hard to find a Portuguese sponsor. SRS is a team of lawyers that we've been using quite extensively now here at the block. We have negotiated a deal with them, so if you need any kind of contacts with lawyers in Portugal, you can talk to me, I can do an intro, or you can talk to them directly and just mention that you heard about them from the block. What we negotiated with them, if you know about lawyers, is that when we deal with them, we know exactly who we're dealing with, and it's the partners, and we are paying them very little money compared to what a partner would usually charge you in a law firm. And they have a lot of different verticals, so you can ask them about, you know, non-habitual residence scheme if you want to pay little taxes when you move to Portugal. You can talk to them about acquisition and, you know, merger for companies. You can talk to them about financial law if you want to do some weird, crazy product on the blockchain. So it's cool to know that we have one such law firm here that we can talk to. And then we have Ledger. You probably have heard of Ledger as like one of the most well-known company now in blockchain in general, because either you have a Ledger or you have a Trezor. You might have some of the others, but these two are the big ones. So Ledger is doing hardware wallets. They do a little bit more than that. They work on security, HSMs, and backend infrastructure now to secure cryptocurrencies. So yeah, Ledger is probably the biggest in size doing this kind of stuff. So if you buy cryptocurrencies one day, you shouldn't keep them on your phone. You shouldn't keep them on your laptop. You should put them on a specific device. And Ledger is building this kind of devices. Yeah, I think that's about it for the sponsors. And then organizers, we already talked a little bit about discussions. The block is this space. So this is a co-working space, but there is no employee whatsoever, so we just share a space between quite a few cool companies here. And Chainsmiths is my company. We're just a consulting firm on Bitcoin. Something I want to tell you about this event from now on is that everything is going to cost 50 sats, so probably not many of you know how much that is worth. But we just want people to have, to at least have started to use cryptocurrencies and pay for things. 50 sats is 0.5 cents, so that's 0.005 euro. And everything this weekend, like a coffee, a beer, whatever, is going to cost that. So you just have to pay half a cent to get your stuff from now on. This is also to show you that cryptocurrencies can solve some problem, even in real life. It's not only about online stuff. It can solve problems that credit card cannot solve, for example, or even cash in that case, because half a cent you cannot do with cash. If you don't have any cryptocurrencies, we're not going to get you towards a very complex way to get them. you can just drop your coins in the coin ATM we have here. Does it accept 1 cent? Probably not. 2 cents. You can put 2 cents and that's 4 beers. So you should be fine. And yeah, that's a cool project actually. So you should use that. It's working extremely well. So you put your coins in and you get Bitcoin out basically. For the coffee, so there are 2 different ways to do things. Actually, Stefan, I need you to change the price on the machine. The coffee is coming out of this coffee dispenser. There is a website, coffee.bitcoin-studio.com. That is basically you have the 5 different coffee on the web page. You click on the one you want, it shows you the invoice, or it opens the Lightning application on your phone that you will have when you start using the things. And as soon as it's paid, the coffee drops and you can go to the kitchen and make your coffee. That's how we do coffee here. So we don't have to deal with getting cash or getting payments through employees. We don't have employees, so machines. Machines are great at taking our jobs. And beers and softs, we have a tablet, and on the tablet there is an app that we installed. It's also a BTC Pay server, so it's a POS app, where basically there is one button which is anything, and it's 50 sats. So if you want to get anything, grab the tablet, pay for anything, and it's going to be 0.5 cents. If you want to tweet about the event, hashtag Chainhack4 should work. I keep changing my hashtags every year because every time I do a hackathon, some other company is trying to use the same hashtag afterwards. I've had the issue the first year with IBM. So of course they were like, oh wow, this is a nice hashtag with a lot of pictures of hackathon, so we're going to use the same. Great. Changed entirely, and then it was a university in the UK that started using the same. So hopefully this one is empty. Yeah. And also we have a Telegram group for the hackathon. If you are not already in it, I think the other people who are in it can add you. Otherwise, I will just give you the link if you come talk to me or anyone else. It's about 15 people in it, so about half of us have the link already. Telegram is just useful in case, I don't know, you're stuck outside and nobody is hearing you ringing the bell or whatever. Just post a message there and somebody will see it. Rules. Yeah, I don't like rules. I'm an anarchist, but still, this is a private place, so please respect the rules. Be nice, so don't be assholes, and help each other. This is not a competitive hackathon, so you're really here not just to work on your thing and be the best. You're also here to help each other. If you see somebody struggling or somebody has questions, please help them. If you have trash, please don't stack it up on the tables. It'd be great. We have bins around the place, so if you can just throw your trash on the bin, it'd be great. And then, yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions as well to other participants, to me, to whoever. Some people are here mainly as mentor, but hopefully will be there as participants as well. So yeah. What else do I have here? I think it's one of the few. A lot of people are asking me, is it open all night? And my answer is, I don't know. Because I don't really want random people to be here if none of us or the people working from here all the time are here. So the rule is basically that when the last one of the few of us that are working from here leaves, he will tell everybody else to leave. But yeah, that's a few of us, so I don't know who is going to be the latest. Maybe you. So yeah, Matt is usually working till like 5 a.m. here every day, so that's his normal day. And then he's back in the morning before I come back, so I don't on the website, I put like breakfast at 8 a.m., but I'm not sure if somebody will be here at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So I will get some pastries, pastel de nata, and stuff like that. Probably I'll bring it here at like 9 a.m. So if there is somebody here before, great. But if you want to get some pastries and stuff, I will bring them here at like 9 a.m. Then in case of fire, because I know some guys are going to do hardware, there is a fire extinguisher behind the locker here, and there is another one just behind the bar outside. There is a first aid kit here on the small table. It's in a plastic box, so if you have headaches or whatever, or if you cut yourself, you can fix yourself before dying on the floor or something. And don't let randomers in. That's like participants have this green bracelet, so if you're not sure about somebody or somebody doesn't have this bracelet and try to come in, don't hesitate to post on Telegram or whatever, ask us to come and check if everything is all right. I really don't want computers to disappear or anything like that, so just that's just the reason why. And if somebody rings at the door, it's good to go. Yeah, exactly. Somebody should go get it. It'd be great. And last slide I have, the process for tonight is going to be that people who have ideas, and people who don't have ideas actually, if you want to talk about yourself, we'll give them about 30 seconds to explain an idea, which is very short, but when we have 30 people, you know, that's already a lot of time. So I've done that for hackathon with 150 participants. It takes like 2 hours. It's just, so please respect about 30 seconds. If you want to also talk about yourself, just say it in 10 seconds. 10 seconds is actually quite long. You can say your name, your work, your interests, your life. That's 10 seconds. Teams. I don't put a hard number on it. I've put 2 to 4 people average because I think that's the right number to have like 10 projects or something by the end of the weekend. But if a project is big and requires more people, you are welcome to do that. If you want to be solo, well, you can be solo, but it's not as cool if you are at a hackathon working by yourself. I don't really see the point of that, but whatever, it's up to you. Oh yeah, we're here to build. This is a technical hackathon. I don't care about the business pitch of it. It's about building something that works. If it makes no sense, it's not a problem, as long as you try and it works. We have a few stupid things around the place that you can use, or ask me if you have any questions. We have some of the light bulbs that are Wi-Fi, and you can change their color, and you can make them blink if you have any idea that change the color of the light depending on the price of Bitcoin. You can do that, right? It's really open. We have a printer. You can use that if you want to create an invoicing system, a paper page. You can do that. So you can think pretty wide. Yeah, and on the last day, on Sunday, we will still have a pitch, but don't take it seriously as like a business pitch. It's really, you know, what did you do during the weekend? What did you learn? What did you build? And a demo of how it works. So that's the idea. It's going to be at like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. on Sunday. So you have until that time to build. By experience, everything is finished and working fine on Saturday afternoon, and everything breaks in the Sunday morning, and then everybody panics. But that's normal. It's a hackathon. It's always like that. So yeah, that's about it for me. I don't know if you have any questions before I let the sponsors present themselves. Any question? Any? No. Everything's fine. Cool. All right. Do you want to start?
Hi everybody. I'll try to be the 30-second person.
No, you can take your time.
So I'm Pietro Abate. I work for Nomadic Lab. It's a French company. We do thesis development. Thesis, it's a blockchain that kind of launched about 2 years ago. And it's kind of a different idea of a blockchain where governance is very important, so people can actually vote for the upgrade of the protocol. It's not like the cabal that decide for you, but it's more or less all the people involved in the blockchain vote on the blockchain to a specific proposal, and then these proposals, it's automatically rolling the protocol. We have a lot of effort in we put a lot of effort in formal verifications, so we have also smart contract language that is called Michelson, and we have people to formally verify the smart contract, so it's not like mumbo jumbo JavaScript kind of thing like on Ethereum. Hi. And we are kind of sponsoring hackathons and meetings and things around because we want to let the entire world knows about this new blockchain and people working on it. So if you are interested, me and Alex, this weekend we're going to work on small things that I'm going to pitch later. So if you want to work with us, you're going to learn a bit about thesis.
Yeah. And if you're interested in a workshop as well, you guys might do a small workshop this evening for people who want to learn about the technology, maybe the tools. I don't know exactly what you want to present.
I don't know. I can talk from 10 minutes to 6 hours about this. So depends on the interest. If you really want to learn about the technology, come to bother us, and I mean, I can just talk from the philosophy to the ReasonML applications.
Great. So 6 hours is like 3 a.m. So that's fine. FCAT. Do you want to talk about FCAT?
I think we kind of covered it pretty much in the opening. I think it was a great job.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what you do then?
Sure. So I work with the FCAT team. We're constantly looking for new and inventive ways, supposedly, to try to use the blockchain to solve Fidelity's problems. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're also trying to, I think that's one part of it. The other big part of it is we're actually really trying to educate as many people as possible in the Boston area and a couple of sites throughout the US, because there are pockets of people that enjoy cryptocurrency or blockchains, and they just don't know that much about it, or they want to learn more about it, or they want to get into it somehow. Fidelity's trying to make that easier for people, so we're trying to. It's going to take time, but we're working on it. So,
can you give us some like secret info about what digital asset is doing?
Digital asset is I can't say too much about that. It's I think it's coming. I think we announced last year at some point Fidelity is getting behind a digital assets company basically, and we are going to start being able to hopefully custody some coin. I don't know much about it. I just know that it's out there. It's coming up. People seem to be excited about it, to say the least. So. And then ultimately, the real reason why I'm here is my boss called and offered me and said, "Hey, do you want to go to Portugal for a week?" And I said, "Sure, why not? Let's go." So so I'm going here. I have no ideas. I have no projects I'm going to pitch. I'm here to work. So I'm here to work and learn. So I'm excited to see what you guys have to bring forward. So thanks for having me.
Cool. Yes, so I'm going to present Fulgur. I already did a little bit. They are a VC fund on Lightning Network specifically. So they are not investing in anything not Lightning, which is interesting, but I guess it's also easier maybe for them to focus on a very narrow set of things. So Lightning is quite fun because it's a very new technology on top of Bitcoin. There is hope that it will create revenue models, because Bitcoin doesn't really have revenue models. It's all about not having third parties, so it's pretty hard to get paid to do your work. If you are developing a new super cool wallet, it's hard to monetize a wallet in Bitcoin. If you're developing, pretty much anything in Bitcoin is hard to monetize. Lightning, on top of that, you have a lot more third parties you might want to use for different reasons. It's kind of like in the early days of Ethereum where everybody has ideas about everything. And because you can do very small micropayments on Lightning, you can also imagine a lot of things. And Matt, actually, who built this Lightning ATM right there, is pretty much going to all the conferences, showcasing his hardware. But there are a lot of people building also hardware tools. So you see the coffee dispenser here, but there is some bubblegum dispenser, there is some beer machines, like a lot of things that are being built. I'm not saying this is the future in terms of like business models, but people are much more excited when you can actually touch a physical thing, I guess. So that's the beginning, and they're like, wow, we can actually do things in the real world with this kind of tech. So Fulgur is looking for cool applications for that. So if you're working on a Lightning project at some point in your life, you should probably talk to them. They are a seed and Series A VC investor. SRS.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, very quick. So, hi guys. SRS is a law firm, Portuguese law firm, very big, one of the biggest traditional law firms in Portugal. But it is also a law firm that looks into new things. So it's the only law firm in Portugal that has an accelerator for startups. Okay, we are in the second edition this year. The first edition was only fintech, regtech, and legal tech. This edition is pretty much all tech-related companies. In this context, I met Kevin a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago, in the Web Summit. Since then, we've been discussing all the legal aspects that relate directly or indirectly with the technology, basically with crypto assets. So we'll be around these couple of days. Myself, other colleagues, have any questions, Kevin has our contacts as well. Glad to help. That's it.
And also, in Portugal, there is this, let's say, abnormality that there is no capital gain tax on cryptocurrencies. So that's one of the reasons why some of us are here. So if you don't want to feel bad about not paying taxes about cryptocurrencies, you can move to Portugal, and it's 0%. So it's a great way to hold your Bitcoin or your whatever coins for a long time. And I guess you can probably advise on that and on the non-habitual residence scheme as well. And stuff like that.
Basically, regulatory and tax, those are pretty much the main aspects we've been advising on.
So yeah, and last one is Ledger, and as I said already, Ledger is the manufacturer of hardware wallets. And also they have I can't really say that from them, but let's say they are diversifying into much more security-focused products, not necessarily only blockchain or crypto-related. So yeah, they opened a pretty big manufacturing plant in France, and they also have a new vertical now that's called Ledger Dungeon, where they are just security, including hardware security people that just break everything they can find, which is really good to see because it's typically, especially for hardware, it's been really traditional. It's becoming like very old companies, like I don't know, Thales, Gemalto, all the big names that do credit cards and stuff like that. But these guys are like pretty new because they started with Bitcoin and now they're moving to, they're actually now moving towards banks and other applications. So it's the opposite from the traditional guys. And that's it. So I think that's all for me. Yeah, still no questions? All right. Anybody has some ideas that they want to pitch first? So, great, come here. Do you want the microphone or you're fine?
Hello everybody, I am Stefan and I would like to work on Bitcoin, so I did this machine. And my idea is to work on Lightning and how to manage a tool to manage Lightning channels. So Lightning works with channels. You have, I will not explain now, but you have an inbound and outbound capacity, and sometimes it's hard to receive. You need some coins on the other side of your channel to receive coins. So we need a tool to do that, to balance the And I would like to use submarine swaps, which is a contract, like a smart contract to send Lightning coins to on-chain and vice versa, on-chain coins to off-chain. Right.
Cool, that's about 30 seconds. Perfect. I think that was the perfect thing. So he said who he is, what he does, what he wants. It's great. Anybody else? Yes, great, thanks.
Right, so I'm here to learn about, to try to do something technical on blockchain. I've kind of researched about it. But one idea that I would like to try and implement is about credentials in education and transcripts of universities and things like this. How to eliminate or control frauds in people's credentials. And ease the move of people from one country to study in another, so that you verify that the university exists, that they actually have those credentials, and in other fields. So it's kind of a broad topic, and I would like to work a bit on this, specifically using smart contracts. Maybe we can use Tezos for that. My idea originally was more Cardano, which I'm kind of more familiar with, but I'll make sure to speak with you guys later. Thank you.
Thanks.
By the way, I came to learn a little about cryptocurrencies because I do C-bots for trading Forex, and I want to start doing C-bots to trade cryptocurrencies. So that's why I came.
Less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, less than 30 seconds.
Good. My name's Matt. I built, as Kevin said, this Lightning ATM. I work here from the block as well. The project idea that I have is something that could potentially be implemented in every single cash register on this planet. And the idea would be, so imagine next time you go and you buy groceries and you have at the end a bill of €5.50 and you pay with €10, and the person behind the register asks you, do you want coins back or do you want Bitcoin back? When you say Bitcoin, the person presses a button and on a little display there will be a QR code for you to scan or a NFC chip for you to receive Bitcoin straight over the Lightning Network.
So cool.
That's what I want to build.
That's right.
It's pretty cool. Every year it's the same. I have nothing to do. People just manage themselves.
Okay, I'm Edouard. I'm a dev, and I wanted to try a meetup powered by Lightning when you pay an invoice to register to an event, and you get a refund if you attend the event. That's it.
I am Lucas, computer engineer and contemporary installation artist. I come here because I want to try to build my first app, and my idea is to try to do a rip-off of the 1 million pixel ads and try to do the 1 million block ads and see how it goes. So if somebody want to try that, I'm here to try to do this in 3 days. Let's see if I can, and we can.
Hi, my name is Oleg, and I'm founder of Chainhack. It's a fiat crypto exchange. I want to do a product that can relay a signed Bitcoin transaction into the Lightning Network. So anyone who publishes a simple Bitcoin transaction can basically use it as a middle layer to make the cost cheaper. I know it's possible, but that's it. Anybody wants to? It's API only, no front end, should be doable in 2 days.
It's similar to what Stefan actually said. Let's call it submarine swap, the
Maybe,
technical term.
Maybe I've been opening the door. But he wants to subscribe to us. So
it's possible.
Well, as a Bitcoin maximalist, you should support my idea because it's Bitcoin only.
Of course.
Maybe, yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Ernie, and the idea is basically bringing blockchain using Hyperledger Fabric for cannabis industry, making a business model. That's pretty much it.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Well, it's kind of a marketplace where a company needs to buy, let's say, something, not only cannabis, but also it can be anything with cannabis, medicinal or clothes or anything related to it.
I want to work with this guy.
and in the marketplace, the companies can sell and can buy whatever they need to in there. So all the transactions and everything will be, of course, in blockchain, Hyperledger. So it will be transparent, and also it will be a permission blockchain for companies. I mean, it has to be because the government. So there's some data there that not everybody can see it. So basically, it is something like that.
Also, if you have multiple ideas, you can pitch a few. It's fine. Come back, change your idea, or give 2 or 3.
Do you have to do all the ideas into sum to 30 seconds?
Wow. What can I come up with? Yeah, I don't know. I was publishing. I'm not capable of doing it myself, so you need to be technical. Quite technical. I discussed maybe a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. I've been working on a solution for custodials. So basically, one of the big problems in cryptocurrencies is that when you are an institution, let's say a fund like Fidelity or whatever, in some jurisdiction you're not allowed to be the custodial of your own assets. You have to use a third party for different type of risk mitigations. And so in cryptocurrencies, that is a very bad idea. So the regulator will have to change these because it's really bad to let your money somewhere else, to somebody else who can control it and move it. Because the legal system is not going to fix it. In cryptocurrencies, the problem we have is that when the money is gone, it's gone. Maybe in Tezos, actually, you can have like a vote for a rollback or something like that. You can't. Well, you can upgrade the blockchain with votes, right? So you could add a new rule that you can double spend a specific transaction, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, everything is possible.
Not in Bitcoin. So yeah, so this is a problem, and it's starting to happen that some funds, especially traders and investment funds that control other people's money, really believe they can do a better job at security than their third party. But if that's just using a ledger, like the hardware wallet, just this like small USB stick or calculator, it's not enough for security when you have hundreds of millions or billions of dollars worth. Just because you could threaten the person and take the money, or you could do a lot of different things. So that's more than 30 seconds. Very sorry. All right. So there are ways to do very complex scripts, even in Bitcoin. You can call that a smart contract if you want. You can have different type of multi-signatures that are conditionals. You can add different time locks depending on how many people sign this transaction. It will go faster or slower. You can craft revocation transactions. You can have a lot of things. And I pretty much modified one of the new and most popular vault idea that's out there. And I think I made it work. So I'm quite happy with my idea, but it needs implementation. What it needs is a co-signing server and a watchtower. So if you've never heard of these words, probably it's going to be tough. But if watchtowers are something you're interested in Bitcoin scripting, maybe we can talk to each other.
So in 2 words, you would say that
it's
recoverable.
Yeah, let's say transactions that you can cancel if needed, either because you do a mistake or because somebody's trying to steal your money.
What about RBF, FSS, or FSS is no longer?
RBF, no, this is much better than RBF.
Okay, but does RBF in the new, like in 0.18, does RBF has to be FSS or not FSS?
What do you mean by FSS?
First in safe, so you cannot double spend to another switch.
What's RBF?
Replaced by fee. It's when you spend more fees to try to get your transaction mined instead of the other. But even that is not probable. It's just the marketplace. So you could bribe a miner to mine a transaction for cheap.
This is not plausible though. It's costs too much money.
Yes, but my solution makes it impossible for the miners to cheat.
Okay, so
cool.
That's interesting, yeah.
All right.
But
We'll talk more.
So this team is going to work on a small multi-signature contract. The idea is to have a large number of people that can submit something that can be, for example, I want to work on something. And restrict the number of people that can vote for this something, and then there are up votes, down votes. And this is all done with this smart contract that it's a multi-signature. So on top of this, I would like also to build some React application to make it nice. And I'm looking for people with kind of experience to work with us.
By content, you mean what type? Anything?
I mean, the multi-signature is pretty general. It can be bounties, it can be proposals for something, it can be, I like this cat instead of the other one. And so it can be applied for many things, maybe also for your revocation.
All right.
Hi, I'm Jack, co-founder at Discussions. So my idea is to kind of build a business structure on the blockchain. So trying to remove as much legal framework from the process as possible and replace it with code. So that includes protecting stakeholders, people who invested in it, how funds are distributed, so much like the DAO, maybe a little less problem. I'm not a technical developer. I am a more business developer. But yeah, that's my idea.
Can you say what the DAO is for the people who have never heard of the DAO?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so DAO was kind of like an Ethereum venture capital structure that they created in a really early days. So tons of people pour their money into Ethereum, and they use a very complicated governance system to decide which projects to fund. There was a bit of trouble with the programming, and it kind of went belly up. But I think the ideas was great. I think the idea was fantastic, and you know, I'm someone who's really into international business. I think it's an amazing thing that brings our work together. But I think there's a lot of legal issues that stops that, and blockchain is a way for us to kind of circumnavigate that issue. Obviously, if the regulator come on board and accept this technology as a way to connect us all through business, I think it would be fantastic. But again, I'm looking at like the technology aspect. If there's any legal assistance that I can also get on how we could make this legal in Portugal, that would also be fantastic. So I just think it's a wonderful dream of mine to be able to like collectively start a business at this moment right now without having to jump through all the legal hurdles. Doesn't matter which country you're from.
So you want to make the lawyers obsolete, right?
No, not that. I want to turn the expertise into code so that everyone can have access to it.
Okay. Thereby making them obsolete in the future.
No, I'm making it so just like the internet made information accessible to everybody. I want to make the legal expertise hard-coded and usable for everybody.
All right, if nobody else is coming, yeah, as I was saying, we have some things around. I also bought some hardware, so I think you'll have some Raspberry Pis available, and I have like screens, camera, all type of sensors you can imagine, temperature, pressure, humidity, sound, anything. I bought like 48 different sensors. So if you want to build anything hardware, do any kind of like insurance on the blockchain or whatever, trigger, something that triggers a payout, I mean, I don't know, whatever, something that detects movements and anything, we can build it. We have probably the hardware here. So there is that. We have some light bulbs, as I said, that you can play with. So if you like changing the color of the light bulb, depending on whatever condition, you can play with that. Could be fun. Yeah, I mean, we have some screens if you need screens, big one, small one. What else can we need? Keyboards if you need some for like whatever project. Don't hesitate to ask me. I have an Xbox somewhere, so maybe if you want to do something on the Xbox outside of just gaming, we can talk. And yeah, I think for me that's all the ideas I have in mind. Do the lawyers have ideas? Do you have
I have
any?
very capitalistic ideas which are not good for it.
What? Any anarchist things here? No, not too much. What about an easy tool for people to do tax evasion or something?
That's capitalistic.
Yeah, I mean.
It's more anarchistic.
It's a libertarian.
Libertarian / anarchist.
Voluntarist. All right, well, if you have any more ideas later on, don't hesitate to just tell the people about it. I guess we can start to form teams and figure out if you find people you want to work with. If you don't find anybody you're interested in, well, think about more ideas and try to convince people to join you. Don't hesitate to modify ideas, talk to each other if you think ideas are similar or whatever, and make a big team. I don't mind. This is really open and you're here to learn and play around with tech. So yeah, I guess now it's up to you to talk to each other. And we can say like in half an hour to an hour, something like that. I'd like to have a good idea of who are the teams. And then we eat, and then we start hacking, and the workshop for Tezos, for those interested in the tech, will be running. Maybe Stefan or Matt can do a workshop on Bitcoin or Lightning later if somebody's interested to learn a little bit. Or other techs if some of you are like experts in anything else. Don't hesitate to teach people about it. That's also why we're here, right? Cool. So now, like the people who I didn't see yet, who came late, please come to me and we can get everything sorted and I can explain you everything.